Yes, sir. Yes, very good morning, ma'am. So I think already we started charging section in our Income Tax Act 2025. What is the charging section number 4? So if you observe, every person definition given in which section, ma'am? Section 2, clause 77. And we discuss a definition of total income also. Next, we have to discuss the what tax year. Can you tell me tax year definition given in which section, ma? Section 3. If you observe, we have an definition related to tax year given in which section? Section 3. Yes. So before going to that section 3, etc., I want to tell you one side reading for this. Person definition is over. Next, what? We discussed the definition of what, ma? Total income. So next we have to start the third point, C. Please give the heading for this C. In till now also we are discussing the provisions relating to charging section only. Within that now we have to discuss the C. Can you tell me what is that, ma? General rule. What is that? General rule. Sir, it is not given on our books, but we can try to understood what is a general rule. Shall we? Yes, ma'am. If you observe, tax year, can you tell me what is a tax year now? 2026. What is that, ma'am? 27. Okay, here itself we are going to define the meaning of tax year. The tax year means it is a financial year or calendar year? Financial year. In Income Tax Act 2025, if we are calling as an year, that means always financial year. Tell me, what is that commencing date? 1/4/2026, 31st March 2027. Whatever that income you earned during the tax year. Earlier we are calling the tax year as an what in old act previous year. Okay. If any income you earned during this period, if you earned any income during this period, on that income you are required to pay the tax in the tax year itself? No. It is an extremely difficult draw. Why? So nothing but books of accounts closure also, income computation also, it will take some time after completion of this particular tax year. So that's why when you are required to pay the tax related to income and during the tax year, in the next year to the already in charging section itself we written that. Can you tell me financial year succeeding to the relevant tax year? Financial year succeeding to the relevant tax year. That word only we can use here. Financial year succeeding. Tell me, ma. Financial year succeeding to the relevant what is that year, ma? Tax year. Can you tell me what is that year, ma? 2027-28. Okay. Clearly they are saying you have to pay the tax in the next succeeding financial year. Tell me the dates. 1/4/2027 to 31st March. 31st March 2028. Okay, here I am extending some discussion because you are in now you are in final level. Tell me, ma, we earn the income during the tax year. On that income now we are paying the tax in which year? Immediately succeeding year. Okay. how to pay this tax. In introduction session already we discussed how to pay the tax by way of filing a statement. That statement only called as what return of income. So orally we can't pay the tax. Definitely by using that one statement only you have to pay the tax. Now that statement only called as what return of income. So by way of payment of tax, definitely by filing return of income we have to pay the tax, right? Okay, just here itself we want to know the clarity. What are the due dates are available for filing the ROI? ROI means return of income. So generally in that next year to the tax year we have to file the return. But in that act itself, they given the due dates. In return of income chapter, I will give you the due dates in more elaborate manner. Just now I will introduce. 31st 7. Some of the SSEs are required to file the return on 31st 7. And next due date. Some of the SSEs are required to file return on 31st August. Sir, who are required to file on which due dates? I will tell you in return of income chapter. Now just remember, different SSEs are required to follow the different due dates. Different SSEs are required to follow the different due dates. Now, some of the SSEs, 31st October. Some of the SSEs, any idea? 30th November. Sir, any one of the due dates we can follow based on the situations as well as circumstances. So this is a general rule, or we can call it as golden rule also, no problem. Now, based on this general rule as well as the golden rule, now we can discuss the what definition of the tax year. That means in this C point only, I will define the what tax year. There is no definition related to this year. Generally, they are saying, yes, tax year, immediately next year only we have to use for filing of what return of income. Intentionally, many students are messaging to our staff. Yes, they purchased December 26 intentionally. They want to postpone their attempt. Now they want to switch over the classes. That is not possible. Okay, so I took your classes for December 26. I want to see the classes for June 27. Clearly we mentioned also as December 26, June 27 separately. I given multiple short videos also for which attempt, which act is applicable also clearly. So if you are asking about that course change and all the things, it is an extremely difficult. Now, many students, especially, okay, CMA students normally. I don't want to talk about especially about you, I'm saying about all the students generally. Okay, many students, they are asking with me only, they are paying fees to me also, they take an access, but after 2 or 3 months, I want to write June 27. Okay, after few years, they will write the new Income Tax Act. After few years, still they don't want to watch the class. I'm not talking about you, about others. Okay, if you want to get the clarity about that classes swapping, etc., you can contact with that number with the proper message. You can drop the proper message, definitely they will give reply. It is not a place to ask the questions. Okay, if it is general doubt, okay, I will explain. If you are asking about classes issue, books issue, okay, that is not a correct way. No problem. Now we can discuss the meaning of which year tax year. So can you tell me definition of the tax year is clearly given in which section Section 3. Shall we? Yes, ma'am. Tax year means it is a financial year. Ma means, yes ma, it is an financial year. It is in which year ma? First of all, financial year. It is not a calendar year. Okay, how many months period we can call it as tax year? You can see here 12 months period. It is an financial year. Yes ma, in, okay, it is an financial year. Can you tell me how many months period ma? 12 months period. 12 months period commencing from, tell me, commencing from what is that? First April, 1st April. Next, the income during the, yes, that is only the definition. For 12 months, it is in financial year. That means automatically you know when it is required to end also. Can you tell me ending time ma? 31st March. Now, second point in this we can write it down. Second point in this we can write it down. What is the second point ma? That income and during the tax year. Yes, what is that ma? Income and during tax year. Income and during tax year. Tell me, is taxable in which year ma? Is taxable after end of the that tax year. After end of that what ma? Tax year. After end means next year only, right? So definitely after end means automatically you have to pay the tax in the next succeeding financial year. Understood? Ma, generally, if whenever we are calling it as a tax year, it consists always how many months ma? 12 months. How many months ma? 12 months. But now we have to discuss some exceptions to the 12 months period. In two cases, previous year less than how many months ma? 12 months. Sir, if you are talking about the tax year means always 12 months, but now we have to discuss the exceptions. Okay, third point, first we will write it down. Tax year contains how many months ma? 12 months. Tax year contains how many months ma? 12 months. But now we have to discuss exceptions to this. Okay, now we have to discuss the what ma? Exceptions to this. Shall we discuss what are the exceptions we have ma? So this is also sometimes they can ask as an MCQ. Generally tax year contains how many months ma? 12 months. That means from April to March. But now we have to discuss the exceptions. Can you tell me how many exceptions to this rule? 2. Now, I'm starting my business in August month. From which month I can earn income? August month. That means your previous year for your business or profession also should start from which month ma? August. So August to March. Now tell me, this period is less than 12 months or equal to 12 months? Less than. This isn't business. If you are started new business, if you are started new profession, that period always starting from the commencement of the business or profession, ending with the 31st March. Second one, I'm earning the new source of income. Example, I join in one particular job in September month. That means now previous year or earning of income also, not previous year, sorry, tax year. So earning of income also starting from which month ma? September month to which month? March. That means in these two cases, the previous year or now updated wise tax year contains how many months ma? Less than 12. Please try to write it down. Yes ma? Please try to write it down. New business or profession. New business or profession commences during the which year ma? Tax year. Yes ma? Commences during the which year ma? Tax year. Suppose that is example. I am taking the example 1/10/2026. Now in this case, what is the TY ma? Tax year. Now we can say 1/10/2026 to 31st March 2000 what ma? 27. Clear? Next. Second one ma? New source of income. What is that? New source of income. Yes ma? New source of income. Earnings started during the year. Started during the which year ma? During tax year. Example we can take, that is from 11/11/2026. Now tell me the tax year. These dates I am taken as an example, not fixed dates. Many are asking, sir, why you are taking specific date? Just example purposes only. 11/11/2026 to 31st March 2027. In these two exceptional cases, tax year always how many months ma? Less than. So, okay. What is that present tax year ma? Present tax year 26, 27 for our June 27 as well as December 27 examinations. Clear up to now all of you? Okay. Done. Okay. Ma, in this general rule only, I am explaining when you are going to earn the income, when you are going to pay the tax, what is the meaning of tax year. We discussed the exceptions to the tax year also we discussed. So exceptions to the tax year are exceptions to the period. Exceptions to the period. Okay. Now we are entering into that further discussion ma. Every person whose total income of the tax year. That means in between these two dates, whatever that income totally and we computed for any person, maybe company, partnership firm, AOP, BOI, individual, for every person, total income we have to compute, and during the which year ma? Tax year. Now we have to compare. If the total income and during the previous year, if it is exceeds the what maximum amount not chargeable to tax. First we'll discuss what is that maximum amount. Okay, this is the highest limit up to that not chargeable to tax. Over and above if you earn income, that is chargeable to tax. So that means in simple words we can decode this word as an what ma? Basic exemption limit. Basically up to this amount, whatever you earn, this is what exempt. Over and above if you earn, that is taxable. Okay, maximum, this is an highest limit not chargeable to tax. Over and above, chargeable to tax. Now, if we discussed what is that basic exemption limits for the person, then only we can compare both the total income as well as basic exemption limit, right? But remember, I want to compare the two things, total income and during the tax year, as well as next what basic exemption limit. If I know the basic exemption limit, then I can compare everything, right? So that's why we can go towards the basic exemption limit, but I want to write it down exactly as an maximum amount not chargeable to tax. Shall we? Please give that next heading. I think general rule is what? Third. Now we have to start it as an what? Fourth. Now we have to start it as what? Fourth. D na? C is over. Now we have to start with the what? D. Tell me maximum amount not chargeable to tax. Within the bracket you can write what is that? BEL, basic exemption limit. What is that? BEL. What is that basic exemption limit. Okay. Sir, now I want to learn this basic exemption limit for every person. Why? I want to compare the basic exemption limit and with the what total income for every person, right? So that's why we want to know the basic exemption limit for every person. Can you tell me in person definition how many parts are there? Total 8. Okay, generally 7, but we written it as an how many 8. For these 8 persons, now we will write the basic exemption limits. Okay, you know already, but we can discuss it in detailed manner. The reason, okay, whenever I am saying about revision, okay, I will always exclude basic concepts. Even in weekend exams also, I don't want to test basic concepts because you know already. And we discussed in detailed manner. The revision means in class itself. Even day before final exam also, you should not refer this chapter. No need to refer, you know already, and we revise it during the class itself. That's why no need to allocate a separate time for the basic concept chapter. Okay. Okay, we can get an MCQ, etc. Now, shall we discuss? First, we'll discuss the person-wise. What is that basic exemption limit? What is that basic exemption limit? Shall we, First, I want to write it down certain set of persons here. Any idea certain set of persons means? Oh. Huma? Individual. Remember? Hura? Individual. Next. The two individual, we want to know the non-resident individual. Or if he is a resident, less than how many years of age? 60 years of age. Non-resident, irrespective of age, always in the first category. If he is a resident, less than how many years? 60 years. Okay. Individual only having the age in the person definition. Remaining, if you observe, who having the age factor? Only individual having the age concept. The remaining all are artificial. We don't measure the age, etc. So that's why particularly for individual, I will check residential status. I will check age also. Okay. Non-resident always here, but resident less than how many years? 60 years. Okay. Second category. What is the category? Second. Are non-resident always covered here. Okay. But resident individual only covered in the first category, less than how many years of age? 60. But now, if he having the equal to 60 or more than 60 years, remember equal to 60 or more than 60 is called as what? Is called as what? Senior citizen. 60 years also senior citizen only. Okay. Can you tell me who is that fellow? Senior citizen. If he is a non-resident, always here only. No need to check the age for the non-resident. If he is a resident, please check the age. Next category, third category. Resident individual up to how many years of age covered? Less than 60 covered here, less than 80 covered here. Now more than or equal to how many years? 80 years. Now we can give the name for this person as an what? Super senior citizen. Super senior citizen. Some cases they can give name as an what? Very senior citizen. Just listen, I will give you complete clarity, no problem. Sir, individual based on age, we categorized into how many sets? 3. After the individual, we have to HUF. Next month, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. That why you written directly in the first point? Because they don't have any A's, right? Always we classified in the first category only, but individual only we classified into 3. That always these fellows, while given the tax rates particularly given combinedly for this person. What that? Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, EAJP. So that's why we have to learn basic exemption limit also combinedly. Why tax rates also given combinedly? So that's why basic exemption limit also what? Combinedly only. Next, remaining. Please check the person definition and tell me who are remains here. Company, a partnership form also. Just I will write company. Next, partnership form includes whom? LLP. Next one, local authority. I think last one only pending. Cooperative. Generally, cooperative society is an example for whom? AJP. But we are excluding to the AJP for discussing the tax rate. That's why in person definition also separately we written. Cooperative society is an example for AJP. While discussing the tax rate, they given separate tax rate for the cooperative society. Okay. First I want to target this set. Set means individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. How many? 5. Again repeat. Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. For these fellows, listen carefully. While filing their return of income in the next year to the tax year, they need to open website, right? In that website, we have to choose the ITR forms. In that ITR forms, if you fill your income, by default, some tax rates will apply. Yes, by default, some tax rate will apply. The tax liability outcome software will show. The tax rates only called as default tax rates. What is the tax rate? Default tax rate. Any idea about old section number, ma? Default tax regime for this set of SSEs in old Act 115 BAC. Okay, in old Act. Now, tell me, ma. Tell me, ma. Yes, remember default tax regime. Default tax regime under section 202. What is that? 202. What is the default tax regime? 202. Yes. What is the section number? 202. Sir, default tax regime. Yes, if that fellows are following the default tax regime. Can you tell me the default tax regime for whom? Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Forget about 115 BSC. Now what is the section number? 202. Okay, sir, super. 202 if they followed. What is the basic exemption limit? Any idea? 4 lakh. What is that basic exemption limit they given for all the 4 lakhs? Sir, no need to check the residential status, no need to check the age, directly in the default tax regime under section 202. What is the basic exemption limit? 4 lakh. Sir, even for resident also, non-resident also. Yes, resident also, non-resident also, and without checking the age also, we have to give the what? And now, simple question. Non-resident also can follow this default tax regime under section 202. Clearly they given, na? No need to think, non-resident also can follow these rates. Resident also. There is no age consideration while giving the tax rates. Sir, why I need to follow this default tax regime, sir? By default, they given some tax rate. If I don't want to follow that, no problem. You have an option to shift out. You have an option to opt out of these rates. You have an shift out. You have an option to opt out. Sir, I don't want to follow this, sir. No problem. You can change from default to one option they given. That's why these rates are called as what? Optional tax regime. What is that? Optional tax regime. What is that? Optional tax regime. Sir, here itself I am given the more input for you. That optional tax regime means how to shift or how to change. I will tell you. So nothing but we are shift out. We are shift out. Or what? Opt out. From which regime? Default to optional. That option given in the section number 202 subsection 4. That option given in which section? Section 202. That means while writing this section itself, in that subsection 4, they clearly given, if you are not interested to follow this regime, you have an option to opt out. You have an option to shift out from the default to what? Optional. Clear? Now, what is the basic exemption limit now? Yes, here 2,50,000. That means resident individual less than 60 years, non-resident individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. What is the basic exemption limit? 2,50,000. And next here, you know already, what is that? 3 lakh. What is that? 3 lakh. Next one, super, 5 lakh. What is that? 5 lakh. Clear? Now, who can follow this default tax regime as well as optional? Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. But remaining others, they don't have any basic exemption limit. They don't have any basic exemption limit. If they earn near 1,000 or 2,000 rupees also, they are required to pay the tax. There is no basic exemption limit for company, partnership firm, LLP, local authority, cooperative society. Are you clear up to now? Okay. Now, so in exam also, always, if they give an individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, then only you have to think about the basic exemption limit. Partnership firm, company, LLP as well as what? Local authority, cooperative societies doesn't have any basic exemption limit. Okay. Now easily you can compare everything. Easily you can compare everything. Every person total income earned during the tax year, and we know basic exemption limit. If it is exceeds, now this person will become as an whom? SSC. Now this person is becoming as whom? SSC. Understood? When we are given the tag as an SSC, please tell me. If his total income during the year exceeds the basic exemption limit. You are an SSC. If you are an SSC, definitely you have to pay the tax in which year? Next year to the tax year by using the rates provided in Finance Act. So now what is our target? Who is an SSC? Shall we discuss, ma? Yes, what is the point number? E. I think are you understood the total flow of discussion? Now we are going to discuss the definition of the SSC. If any definition is required, we have to refer the section 2. Yes, section 2, class 77 we discussed, I think. What is the definition, ma? 77, I think. 77. Wait. 77. Section 2, class 77 we discussed already. Person definition. Now we have to discuss the SSC definition, right? SSC definition also given in which section? 2, class. My earlier sections, please forget. They given section 2, class. Any idea? Any person. Who is that, ma? Any person. In simple words, I will write it down, ma. Any person who required to, yes, who required to pay tax under Income Tax Act 2025 is called as SSC. Remember here, tax means it includes additional income tax also. I will tell you in a further chapters. Not only normal tax, it includes what, ma? Additional income tax also. That means whenever you have a requirement to pay the tax. Now your name is SSC. Your name is nothing but whom, ma? SSC. And in our classroom, all are persons only. Because we are all are individuals. But among all these persons, one person only SSC. In my case, I am an SSC. Okay, in your case, if your income is more than basic exemption limit, maybe you are also SSC. So that word I want to give in the one sentence. Every SSC is a person or not? Every SSC is a person. Every SSC is nothing but whom? Person. But every person need not be an SSC. So if you become an SSC means you are a person only. But every person need not be an what, ma? SSC. Ma, understood this line? Just a sentence they given in the act itself. Okay, for our understanding purpose also we can remember. All are persons. But very few among the persons will become the whom, ma? SSC. Can you tell me how many return of incomes are filed during that every assessment years? I think in our India, nearly 140 crores population is there, including minor, major, etc. Remember, population, that means individuals only. I am not counting artificial entities. Only population we have 140 crore. But artificial entities count, we don't know. Many company registration, many business registrations also, AOPs, BOI, cooperative society, AJPs, nearly we can count it as an 200 crores. How many returns we are getting? Around 10 crore. Not 10 also, 7 to 8 crores only we are getting every year returns. That means SSCs are how many yearly? 7 to 8 crores only. Persons, 200 crores. Clear? So that means all are persons only, but very few persons become as an whom SSC. And okay, anyhow we discussed the everything related to this up to now. Yes, then we have to start the chargeable to income tax in the next year to the tax year by using the what rates. Now our big discussion for 1 or 2 sessions, this is only tax rates in our Income Tax Act 2025. Shall we start? Please give the heading after completion of SSC definition. Yes, SSC definition given in which section Section 2 class 11. Person definition section 2 class 77. Tax year definition section 3. Charging section 4. Okay, EF we can discuss about the tax rates. Can you tell me these tax rates are mentioned in the Finance Act, right? In every Finance Act they will mention the tax rate. So relevant Finance Act tax rates we have to take and we have to calculate the tax liability. Sir, for every SSC I want to calculate the tax liability. Many are thinking that tax liability means just applying one rate and we can get tax liability. That is completely incorrect. That is completely incorrect. Because the tax liability means, that means nothing but in Income Tax 2025, if you want to calculate tax liability means it including how many components? 3 components. If you calculated these 3 things and these 3 things together, you can call it as what? Tax liability. Shall we discuss that? Yes. First one. Any idea? Income tax liability. What is that liability, Income tax liability, sir. This is only tax liability under income tax. No. It should be increased by using the what? Surcharge. What is that? Surcharge. And after this, we have to increase by using the what? Health and education cess. By using the what? Health and education cess. So income tax liability plus what? Plus what? Surcharge. Next what? Health and education cess. All these 3 things called together, we can call it as what? Tax liability. So you can give this symbol as what? Okay. Now, first we'll concentrate on the income tax liability in and out. In order to calculate the income tax liability, that means whatever that income you have, on that income we have to apply the tax rate excluding the basic exemption limit. If any basic exemption limit is there, remove, and remaining amount we have to calculate tax liability. But in my income, you can identify 2 types. One is a normal income. Some incomes may be, which incomes are special incomes. Yes, some incomes are what? Normal income. Some incomes are what? Special incomes. Now tell me, if our incomes are normal incomes, okay, if our incomes are what? Special income. Sir, I don't want to talk what are the special incomes now. Some you know already. So casual incomes, the bettings income, gambling, crossword puzzles, lottery, long-term capital gain. Yes, some cases of short-term capital gain, undisclosed amount. These are all are what are special incomes. Okay. If it is normal income, you have an option to follow. Yes, 2 regimes. For individual, for individual HU of AOP, BOI, AJP, you have an option to follow default or what? Optional. Default as well as what are optional. In company point of view also, what is that ma? In company point of view also, you have an option to follow the both the rates. Both the rates means, can you tell me? Old as well as what are new. Old as well as what are new. Okay. Next, cooperative society also can change. Cooperative society also can change. That means, yes ma, we have an option to follow the old rates. Yes ma, or we can call it as what? Default. Yes ma, in case of default. Or in case what? New regime. Or we have an option to follow the what ma? Optional or what? Old regime. Sir, which thing you have to follow? That is your option only. That's why I'm given it as what? And. Sir, with respect to the normal incomes, you can apply any of the tax rate which you want to follow. Ma, here default optional. Here I am writing with respect to whom? Individual, HF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Company cooperative society, new regime also there. For them, old regime also there. You can follow whatever we want. I will discuss everything after 1 or 2 minutes. Please listen carefully up to now. Normal incomes related, you can follow any of the tax rate which you want to follow. Sir, if any special incomes are there, can you tell me special incomes related we have to apply always which rates ma? Special tax rates. Which tax rates are? Special tax rate. Okay. Whatever the tax liability you got, that always we should combine. Then we can get what ma? Income tax liability. The normal incomes related tax liability you can calculate. Special incomes related special tax rate application related tax liability you can calculate. Then what you will get ma? Income tax liability you will get. After that. Sir, now we are discussing the direct taxes, right? Yes ma. Remember, direct tax is an progressive nature. What is that? Progressive nature. What do you mean by the progressive nature? I will tell you, there is a clear difference between rich and poor. In this taxation structure, we want to show a clear differentiation between rich and poor. Example, you are not paying any tax because you don't have any income now. I have a certain income, I am paying the tax. But in terms of Reliance company is paying the more and more amount of tax because they have a more and more income. While taxing the income also, we are showing clear differentiation between who and whom, rich and poor. While, yes, thinking about direct taxation, remember, there is a difference between whom, rich and poor. That means what is the concept? I want to collect less tax from the poor person. I want to collect more and more tax from the rich person. Coming to indirect tax, reverse to the progressive. What is the word ma? Regressive. What is that? Regressive nature. What is that ma? Regressive nature. Can you tell me if it is called as a regressive nature, that means there is no difference between what ma? Rich and poor. There is no difference between rich and poor. Example, if you want to purchase the one soap, cost plus taxes, you have to pay MRP. That means if rich person purchasing the soap also, he has to pay the same level of indirect taxes. That means while levying the indirect taxes, there is no difference between rich and poor. And there is no age consideration also. 5 years boy purchasing the soap also the same, and 10 years person also, even 60 years person purchasing also, the same taxes we have to pay. Now, in direct taxes, rich and poor differentiation we have to show by applying surcharge. Already we charged tax. But we want to levy the more amount of tax by using the what ma? Surcharge. Surcharge always for the rich people, remember. Okay. If their total income exceeded certain limits, now I want to collect one more type of tax. What is that? Surcharge. Remember, surcharge for whom are simply the rich. But while calculating this surcharge, remember, very important point, right? This income tax liability we calculated on what? Income. Normal income, special income we have. On that we are applying the rates. We are calculating income tax liability. Surcharge we have to calculate on income tax liability, not on income. This mistake many are doing, right? Not intentionally. In flow they are applying the surcharge rate on income. That is blunder mistake. We have to calculate the surcharge on what? Income tax liability. That's why in shortcut we can call it as it is a tax on. Already we computed tax. On this we are levying the one more tax. That's why this is called as what? Surcharge. Okay. I am given the one arrow reference for your understanding, because this is calculated on income tax liability. Understood? When we can decide levying of such as all the things we can discuss after some time. Remember, if your total income exceeding certain limits, then you aren't rich. Okay, you have to pay the one more type of tax, that is an surcharge. But this is required to be levied on what? Income tax liability. Okay. Department collected these two types of taxes. One is an income tax, then after surcharge. But we are not satisfied. We want to provide the, yes, what is that? Health and education related. Every taxpayer is required to pay these two things first. Then after additionally he has to contribute health and education related also. Now we are levying the what? Health and education cess. Can you tell me what is that health and education cess? Any idea? 4%. I know. But on what? Income tax plus surcharge, whatever you calculated, on that we have to levy the what? Health and education cess. Remember, health and education cess is on 4% of what? Income tax plus income tax plus what? Surcharge. Okay. Just I will give you a small example. Don't copy that example. I want to give you a small example. Don't copy that. 10 lakh income is there. How much? 10 lakh income. Here I will write it down. How much income? 10 lakh income is there. Okay. Tax rate I am giving it as an what? 30%. Now tell me what is the income tax liability? 10 lakh into 30%. This is an income. So rate also I given. What is that income tax liability we can get? 3 lakh, right? Okay. Okay. 10 crores is there. Just how much? 1 crore. What is that? 1 crore income is there. Okay, random. This is not a provision also. What is that rate? 30%. Now tell me how much? 30 lakh we got. Now just I am given the surcharge as an, yes, 10%. Now tell me what is a surcharge liability we can get? This 10% surcharge rate we have to apply on what? Income tax liability. Can you tell me how much you will get? 3 lakh. Because 10% we have to apply on tax. How much? 3 lakh. Tell me income tax liability surcharge all together how much? 33 lakh into 4%. How much you will get? 1,33,000, 1,32,000. And now, if I am asking tax liability means you have to add three components. One is 30 lakh, another one is 3 lakh, another one is 1,32,000. So tax liability under Income Tax Act, it always including three components. One is an income tax liability, second one surcharge, next one health and education cess. These are all the three things together. We can call it as what? Tax liability. While calculating income tax liability, please check it out. Normal incomes as well as special incomes. Normal incomes related, you can follow whatever the regime you want to follow. But coming to the special incomes, you have to apply only special tax rate. All together we can call it as what? Income tax liability. If your total income exceeded certain limits, you are a rich fellow, you have to pay the surcharge. But the surcharge rates we are required to be applied on what? Income tax liability. Income tax liability you got, surcharge you got. On these two things we have to levy the health and education cess. These three components together we can call it as what? Tax liability. Understood all of you? Yes. Now, hereafter our discussion, what is that income tax rates? Within that, how many regimes are available? Which regime also we have to follow? We can select. Special incomes related tax rates also we can discuss. First we have to discuss income tax rates. Within that, every point we'll discuss. Then after we have to discuss what? Surcharge. Then after, health and education cess. While discussing the income tax rates, for every person we have to discuss the income tax rate. Individual, HPF, AOP, BOI, AJB, company, partnership firm, LLP, local authority, cooperative society. For all of them, what are the income tax rates? For them, what is the surcharge rates? Then after we can discuss the health and education cess. 90% of the chapter will be over after discussing these rates. Then after also, sir, for rich persons, surcharge concept is there. For poor persons, we want to give the discount on the tax payable. That is only rebate. Okay, that is only what? Rebate. Yes, and because of the surcharge, there is one concept evaluated, that is an marginal relief. That also we have to discuss. Automatically this chapter will close. So that means next we have to discuss the what? Income tax rate. That means in this F point only, I want to start the further discussion with the what? Income tax rates. Yes, ma? What is that concept now I want to discuss for the next session, ma? Income tax rates. Sir, after completion of these income tax rates, we can discuss the what? Surcharge rates. Then after, health and education cess. Then this concept automatically will over. Okay. So tomorrow we can discuss the everything related to, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow we'll discuss the what? Income tax rates related concept. Don't think about it. And before coming to the session, new sections we are going to discuss always. Every section, if you are revise it twice or thrice, automatically you can remember. For me also, this is a regular procedure. Okay, definitely before coming to the class, I need to check the new sections where it is changed also. Even though I know also, before telling to you, I will verify once by using the books or PDFs. Definitely, no one can remember just by way of seeing one document or by way of reading one book. Multiple times if you revise, automatically we can remember. Okay, after revising multiple times, if you forget also, no problem. As per Income Tax Act 2025, you can write. Okay, but any one fellow will write the section numbers properly, he will get better impression. Okay, so tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we can continue with respect to the tax rates discussion. That is very important. Thank you. Have a nice day.